the second Virtual Technical Mailing Forum of IAOM Mid East Africa. The Virtual Technical Mailing Forum is the platform for education. The goal is to share opinions, to share know-how with technical staff, production manager, maintenance, quality control. So I'm happy to guide you through the first day. Looking at the presentation, I'm happy to introduce you with the first speaker. It's Jonas Komitsch. Jonas studied international management with engineering. Jonas is working for Howard Berker, and Howard Berker is owning Behn and Bates. Jonas lived in South Africa and worked for a couple of years in service and modification. Jonas is talking about increasing efficiency with QUAT²RO. Welcome, Jonas.
Thank you very much, Martin. Let me share my screen so that everybody can see the presentation. Okay, I hope that works now. So thank you very much. I will talk to you again about QUAT²RO and increasing efficiency with this system. As Martin already explained, I'm working for Behn and Bates, which is part of Howard Berker. So you will see both companies throughout this presentation a couple of times. Behn and Bates builds packaging machines solely for the food industry, and especially milling. The milling industry is one of our biggest areas. So that's why we are participating in this IAOM and why we want to introduce the newly developed system to you. So what is QUAT²RO? We have our developed QUAT²RO system in intelligence, which consists of three parts. One part is the QUAT²RO monitoring, which is there to make your system transparent. The other is the remote service, so that your system can communicate and we are able to service your machines quite quickly and remotely. And the third, still in development part of the system intelligence, is the QUAT²RO analytics. More to that at a later stage. So in the first step, I would like to talk about the QUAT²RO monitoring and how that intelligent system and then transparent system can help you as millers to increase output and so on. To give a short introduction on why this system is necessary, I would like to show you a video of about a minute. So please just listen and I'll speak to you right afterwards.
Performance data of all preserving machines is often impossible. Mostly the data are different and fragmentary. Management requires a solution from the production manager for perfect system monitoring. In the team meeting with the plant managers, it quickly becomes clear that the required performance data cannot be compared, because all employees deliver different data. In addition, important figures are missing because machine operators are absent due to illness. Unfortunately, the situation is similar for the plant manager. He would like to hear from the shift leaders about performance and maintenance data. However, these only provide him with different and incomplete numbers. Thus, the question of upcoming maintenance work cannot be answered. The shift leaders have hope because the machine is running. The customer order seems to be in timing, but too early to be happy. The desire for a system monitoring with which maintenance work is reported in good time and over the long term is getting louder and louder.
A short introduction what the problems are that we see most of our clients currently facing, and why we went this step to develop a system monitoring. So what are the features of the system and what can you use it for? Well, the first most important part is the real-time data in a dashboard. So that at all times, doesn't matter where you are and doesn't matter whether you're the operator, the maintenance manager, the plant manager, or even the general manager of a milling company with multiple plants, you can see all the machines that you have in your plant. You can see the performance data, the operating status, and you can see the history of those machines. You can schedule your maintenance with the system. More on that also later, where I go a little bit more in detail. But especially you can see various modules on your systems, and you can get the data on when preventive maintenance should be done on those systems. And it notifies you when you come to that point, when your spare parts are due for wear. You get customized reporting so that this data can be given in the same format, for example, in a daily matter or in a weekly matter, and you always have your history data available in the reports. Next step is the push notification system, so that when something happens to your machine, you get the notification directly at that moment, doesn't matter where you are. So that, for example, as the plant manager, you are able to directly focus on the problem and solve it, and you don't need to wait for the machine operators to give you that information. And the last part is the interface to our service team, so that from there on, service requests can directly be given, and you have the contact to our experts. So what are the benefits? Well, benefits really depend on what the position is within the company. As the managing director, having all the data available and having the output data and the fault data available, you are able to increase your sales and optimize your output. As the plant manager, you can especially monitor the production of the machines in real time, and you can increase the efficiency by comparing these different data. Also more on that later in detail. As the maintenance manager, you can detect wear and tear on different components in the machine. You can plan your maintenance, and you can call up maintenance aids, where in the system you can see, for example, how to swap out different components. And as the operator, you can monitor the performance. You can directly see what effects your machine settings have on the performance, and you can document any faults or processes or whatever you've done in the logbook, so that your team members at a later stage know exactly what you did and can learn from those steps. Back to maintenance and what the maintenance part looks like on the system. What you can see here is for an example from a machine that we have installed, where you can see the different components in the filling station 1 now open. And it shows you, since the last maintenance, how many bags have been produced. And the top number is always then the limit of at what time the component should be swapped out for preventive maintenance, to make sure that you don't get to the point where a component fails and the machine needs to stop due to an unplanned breakdown. As you can see here, there are a couple of components that should have been swapped already, and one, the scale adjustment that's coming up, so giving you the notification you have to take care of that very soon. So that monitoring is the one part of it. The other one is the remote service. Remote service was developed pre-corona, actually, so it's something that didn't only come up during the pandemic, but it's something that has been used extensively during this time for quite obvious reasons. So the remote service gives us worldwide access to the machines to help you, together with visual support. More on that also on the next slide. It gives us the opportunity to give you quick support. So whenever you call, we're right there to log onto the machine and help you out. Of course, it's a secure system. So it's not possible to log on the machine without you giving your okay. There's a switch in every cabinet, so that only when you turn this on, the remote service connection can actually be started. And well, at the end, giving you the maximum usability. So with the visual support, something we've seen is with a remote service, yes, it is possible that experts can log onto your control system and check for any faults, but oftentimes machine faults can be mechanical. And to find those faults, we are using smart glasses. These glasses can be then worn by your operators or by your maintenance team. They even fit under a helmet, so perfectly designed for secure areas. And with it, our team sees exactly what you see. And you have a small screen where our team can share, for example, e-plan or a picture, just show you what to have a look at and what to change. And together with the remote service, it is quite simple to find any faults on the machine and to be able to solve the issues without having to send a service technician from our side to your plant. And then without having to wait for this time for him to get into a plane, fly over to the country, drive to the plant, and so on. And the second visual assistance is a camera that is installed. We have seen that it is very beneficial to have a camera in that area that can see the complete packaging line, so that with changes through remote service, our service technician sees also what's at the output, how does the machine in general perform, and as an additional benefit, if a fault occurred, for example, during the night shift, and it wasn't as important to directly call, even though the remote service is 24/7, then it is possible to look at the recording afterwards and check, okay, that might have been the issue, and this is something to have to focus on. So how does it help? At the end, it reduces the downtimes because you can call, you get immediate help to whatever issues you have on the machine. You can optimize your process, so not only use it for breakdowns, but also use it for plant maintenance procedures, for machine settings, or in general for training of your team through the remote service. It avoids cost because you can reduce traveling and with it the daily rates. And at the end, something
سعر التذاكر اليوم، وبإمكانكم أيضا أن تتجنبوا دفع سعر الأسعار اليومية والتكلفة اليومية للخبراء، لأنه بإمكانكم أن
for our planet. So that was all. Now, just the introduction on the system. Main question: how can it be implemented? What we have developed is a small kit where all the components are installed, and this kit is then installed onto your system. And it's a system that is not only compatible with the Haber-Böcker or Behn & Bates machinery, but also with other machines. So quite universal in that sense. It can be installed by yourself because it's quite straightforward. So even for installing, a technician doesn't have to come out. It's a simply clamp on of the cables to the machine, and you can extend it with a smart glasses or camera, the visual assistance that I have introduced. How does it look like from a technical point? So in general, we connect the PLC, the weighing electronics, to a data logging system, ComTom in this case, and then via a router, the data is sent across to the internet, and from there on, then we connect from our side. And with a VPN, also just to show you through the secure network, you can we are able to provide the connection to multiple machines, but also to multiple users if it's requested from your side, so that not only the Haber-Böcker or Behn & Bates service technicians can help you, but for example also other machine suppliers within the line. So back to QUAT²RO monitoring and where we have implemented this in the past. So the monitoring we have actually installed now in 135 machines across all industries. So that is together with our parent company, Havern Böcker. And it is running there quite well. In the milling industry, we have now installed the first system as well, and the international miller that is using this QUAT²RO monitoring system has seen quite a lot of benefits by using it. So the main part is reduction in downtimes due to bottleneck identification. With the system, the miller can see what are the main bottlenecks, why is the complete line stopping, and he can focus on solving these issues. He can decrease his rejects due to having the available weight data per filling spout at all times. So what we oftentimes saw is that at the end you have the data available from the line, you know what came out, but you don't know from which filling spout, for example, this data came, or which machine was especially responsible for it. So solving then problems directly was more difficult. By having this data available per filling spout, you can see if one filling spout is, for example, out of range, and you can just adjust that one. And what this milling company also saw was actually an increase in production output because of this combined data, and because he was able to see where on the machine slower speeds occurred and what the bottleneck in terms of filling speeds was. The remote service is something that we have now actually started to install on every new food packaging machine since 2019. So since beginning of 2019, every machine that we produce comes with a remote service already pre-installed, so that we can help at any time just by a simple phone call. And to show you as well how the monitoring looks. This is not the complete part of the system, but just the general overview, directly showing you per machine what is the current output, how many bags are you producing per hour. So in this case, it's 4,821 that this machine is running at. How many units, bags have been produced since the last maintenance? What is the production time? And with it, also, what is the time the machine didn't produce and what were the reasons for it? So, for example, no product, no bag, no air, general machine fault, and so on. And this really helping you find out what your bottleneck is. And then some more general information, and further in detail, you can then see the weighing accuracies and so on, and the fault identification. Thank you very much, and I'm gladly available to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Jonas. Interesting presentation. So anybody can place question. Please put it in the chat. I listened to it, and Jonas, I have a few questions. I will start. Sure. I understood it's mainly a data collecting dashboard. You're working with, sorry?
Yes, correct.
You're working with visual systems, smart glasses, camera. Are there further sensors giving you insights about the performance of the machine?
Currently not. So what we're doing is we, of course, using certain sensors on the machine to get this data. So that is also something that then can be used for other machines that are not produced by us. So we have on our own machines, we have a lot of data available through the PLC. And with the third-party machines, we can then do it through sensors. For example, if you look at the filling speed, we count every bag that is coming over the line. But we are developing this system further and further. So the idea is that we do add certain sensors at certain parts on the machine to check the conditions of components and to know this available at all times. So it's a constant development to be able to better this system.
Perfect. any question? It will come in, but before the question is placed, is it clear, can you connect it to a third-party machine, any type of machine, or are there limits to it?
Yes, so in general, we can connect it to any machine. As for most information, especially speeds and so on, we use simple inputs and outputs, 24-volt signals that we get. So that is something by just discussing what data should be shown on the dashboard and how this data could be available. We can connect any machine. Of course, in general, it's designed for a packaging line, so the end of the production at a milling company. But even before, with the right inputs and outputs, we can connect any machine. So it is also their constant development.
There is a question coming in from Charles. Good morning, Charles. And it's very similar. Does QUAT²RO system also can be integrated into a Bühler machine, for example, a carousel? And I want to add here, if it's yes, but which information do you get out of this?
So it's something we haven't done yet, but in general, yes, it is possible. So which information you can get out of it, well, depends really on which data we connect. The weighing part that we can see on our system, that of course is something where we need the information from the weighing electronics, and that is something where I don't think Bühler would necessarily want to share that information with us, but Martin is here, so we can discuss. But what you can definitely get out from the machine is the outputs. So the filling speeds that you get from the machine and some faults. So as the machines have the information, is air available? Is the pelletizer running? Is the check weigher running, metal detector, and so on. All this information can be incorporated. So bottleneck identification is definitely possible also on Bühler machines.
Thank you, Jonas. And there is a question. There is an investment. What are the benefits for a miller at the end of the day?
At the end, the benefits is increased output by identifying why the machine is standing. That is a big part of it. So that you know why you're having problems, you can identify these problems quite quickly, and with it you can increase your output. That is on general, and if it's a system, if it's on a packaging machine from us, you can also make sure that your weights are perfect. So you can look at your offsets in weights and make sure that you're not giving away product for free to your clients, but you can also make sure that your clients are happy and they're always getting the weight that they bought in their bags.
Excellent, thank you. There's another question. What kind of machines have been integrated with QUAT²RO for flour milling industry? Something different from weighing electronics in packing machines?
So additionally, we incorporated pelletizer for the milling industry. We incorporated pelletizing equipment, and that is also something we have incorporated in the other industries quite well. So it's the complete line: packaging, pelletizing, wrapping, or stretch hooding, and any system that is in between: check weighers, metal detectors, printers, and so on.
Excellent. But are you really showing a benefit? Because most of the packers have outputs for data. Do we need a QUAT²RO for that? Or can any milling industry elaborate the data by their own?
In general, yes, the data is always somewhere available, but that's the main point. It is available, but not in a combined system. And it's very difficult to find the common common issues without having it in one system. If we, for example, look at outputs, yes, you have the output of the complete line, but you very rarely have the outputs per filling spout. Most packaging machines have multiple filling spouts to then check, okay, what is the issue on a single spout? And also, output is not everything. Yes, this data is shown, and it is quite nicely reported, and you can see it at all times. You always know how your machine is running. You could get that information otherwise, but then the next step to know always why the machine didn't produce, why the output was low. That data is oftentimes not collected. It is something that, yes, at the time when you have a fault, you see it on the screen of the machine. The operators takes care of solving this issue, but at the end, for example, the maintenance manager, the plant manager, to see, okay, why did the machine have this fault, what faults did the machine have? They need to rely on the operators telling them and giving them that information, and there you are oftentimes missing the important parts.
Good. Looking for questions. Now, I'm just why you mentioned why a packing line is not performing. Is it really giving the why? It's only giving the numbers. It's data collecting, but the why. Do I get the why out of this QUAT²RO?
Depending on how far we're going into detail in the why. What we have seen most of the time is if we combine all faults on a machine and look at why the machine at the current state is not running. The main parts is no product, no bags, palletizer is off, or air is off. It's also something we see quite often, or there's a fault on the machine. If we look at the fault of the machine, yes, that is going more into detail. There we do get certain information, not everything, that is still in development, and it's something that of course is available on the machine HMI as well, but especially the other parts, looking at product, looking at your palletizer, working at these, putting these numbers together. That is something that is oftentimes lacking and which can increase your capacity quite quickly, just solving those issues.
Excellent. So I see no questions are coming in anymore. Thank you, Jonas. It is a good start for the first day. So we started at the end with the packer. We will go back, and the next two presentations will give us on a similar topic, in particular on predictive preventive maintenance, into the process from the cleaning to the packing. So we will learn more also in the other machines, which also one of the question was. Thank you.